Watch this.
Today on Beyond the 208, a high school teacher's contract will not be renewed after he used a racial slur while reading a classic novel in his classroom. But he's standing by his decision. Researchers in Oregon are showing that you can't bury the past, digging up pieces of Indigenous history where school educated students, but also strip them of their culture.
World sitting.
The hype is just beginning for soccer fans in the Northwest, football fans if I may, as the FIFA World Cup in Seattle is just a year away. In tonight's Beyond the 208, we begin with the case in Washington State that we've been following now for more than 2 weeks. It's set to be an emotional day in Wenatchee, Washington, as those who loved Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker come together to honor their lives. It's a public memorial held for these 3 girls tonight. Their father, Travis Decker, charged with killing them. He remains at large, with searches ongoing in the mountains of Chelan and Kittias counties. A florist in Wenatchee who is helping create a tribute for tonight's memorial says news of the tragedy is spreading around the globe.
You could feel it, and people, I was in Spain, and people there knew. Yeah, I mean, they knew about it.
The Decker girls' grandfather, dance teacher, and family friends are all expected to speak at tonight's service. If you're interested, you can watch complete coverage of tonight's memorial service for the Decker sisters. It'll be on KTVB Plus, 8 o'clock local time. You can download on your TV for free to watch. Now to the state of Oregon. According to an ICE spokesperson, a father and business owner detained by federal immigration authorities in Oregon on Thursday has a criminal conviction for driving under the influence. Libby Dowsett with our sister station in Portland reports.
The beautiful wine that we make here in Oregon, that all starts in the vineyard.
The Oregon Wine Growers Association says migrant workers are the core of our state's wine industry.
This isn't a job that just anyone can do. This is really skilled work, and have been working in our vineyards for years, for decades, and for generations.
A shock in Oregon wine country last week when ICE agents arrested a beloved Newberg vineyard manager, Moises Sotelo, and transported him to an immigration detention facility in Tacoma. An ICE spokesperson telling KGW Sotelo had a past arrest for DUI, but the Yamhill County District Attorney's Office saying they could find no record of it.
I am hopeful that in coming days, it won't take another person being removed from our community for elected officials to unify that our immigrant and migrant community is the backbone of our economy and our neighborhoods.
Newberg's council president and other leaders saying we need to stand up for our wine and hospitality workforce that supports not just Yamhill County's economy, but the state's.
Not only is our leading industry going to slow down, but also it bleeds into manufacturing, it bleeds into construction, in every aspect of our economy.
Nurseries and construction and landscaping and manufacturing and hotel space, retail space.
Frank Garcia with Immigration Counseling Service says we'll all feel the effects of workers not showing up.
There's a lot of pain in the community already. There's a lot of fear. And so, we're looking for signs of hope. This isn't one.
Really, we start locking arms and using our collective voice. We have influence in our community, and I think that this is a great example of where we need to be showing our leadership.
It's really showing that there's a broken system when folks that have been here for so long have not found a pathway to become citizens when they are contributing so much to our communities.
School may be out for the summer, but a debate continues at the West Valley School District in Spokane, Washington. This comes after a high school teacher was let go for reading a racial slur in class. Regan Gallo from our sister station in Spokane shares his side of the story.
Matthew Mastronardi is a Spanish teacher at West Valley High School, and now he's fighting for his job back after he read aloud To Kill a Mockingbird to his students and recited the racial slurs that appear in the original text.
You would never say this in a discriminatory way, but we have to confront the history. You're not above the history.
In April, Master Nardi says one of his students brought up a question about the book, To Kill a Mockingbird, during Spanish class. Students and Master Nardi say the book is part of the West Valley curriculum, but Master Nardi made it clear it's not part of what they cover in Spanish class. He said that as a teacher, he felt it was important to respond to the student's question and talk about the historical context and the intent behind the racial slur in the book. He added the conversation was also important as a professional who teaches language. Shortly after, Master Nardi was informed by school district administration that his teaching contract would not be renewed.
If I pretend I'm not allowed to speak honestly because of who I am, then I'm teaching kids to do the same, to self-censor, to obey social scripts instead of their moral convictions. And that's not education, that's conditioning.
Now, some of his students are rallying behind him in support, saying their teacher would never use a racial slur in a hateful way.
I'll reiterate, he said the N-word not out of vitriol, out of spite, not directed towards anybody on any level, simply out of just intellectual honesty. And exploring literature and refusing to engage in ideas in literature that you don't like, I feel like you couldn't sustain that in the classroom.
Master Nardi plans to address the West Valley School Board next week in a meeting, and he's hoping for reconciliation and to get his job back. I'm reporting here in Spokane Valley, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
To Salem now, where an archaeological dig is underway at Willamette University, one that's revealing painful parts of history in the Northwest, while at the same time also inspiring young research and scientists. Devon Haskins with our sister station in Portland, Oregon, shows us how the city and Ground Round tribe are digging into the past.
At Willamette University.
I think I overfilled this one a tad bit, but it's okay.
Students and archaeologists are trying to uncover remnants of Oregon's past.
You have to go through everything because, as I say, archaeology is destructive science.
While some things are worth keeping,
Probably weird stone, but
others are not.
worm.
The city of Salem has organized this archaeological dig on the campus
So we're about 27 centimeters in.
to find a piece of Indigenous history.
The Indian Manual Labor Training School.
Built in 1842, the school was set up by Methodist missionaries to train young orphan members of the Santiam Kalapuya tribe. Here, students would learn to make shoes, ironwork, and essential trades to make them employable.
We have individuals that as children learned English, learned the ways of a Euro-American system here, that then later in life became leaders.
But as much as the school taught them,
it was an unkind place.
It also stripped them of their heritage.
A lot of the students died under their care, and those that did run away, they were brought back and essentially imprisoned.
2 years after it opened, it was shut down because of the horrendous conditions. It was sold to what would become Willamette University, burning down in 1872. It's a past.
Well, we think that this might be some kind of nail
that can't be buried or forgotten.
Archaeology is an access to understanding the past. It provides a physical evidence of what has occurred.
So we know this was manufactured exactly in the period of time.
So far, in the multiple digs that have taken place,
this is a piece of slate.
They found plenty to be excited about.
This is part of a shoe that was down at about 40 centimeters.
And while they wait for the dates to be confirmed through carbon dating,
are made both of leather and rubber.
It's a reason to be excited.
It's exciting because it gives us a glimpse into the people that were here.
This is a public dig site, so if you're wanting to come out and see what they're doing and learn about what they've found, they're at Willamette University near Smolin Hall. They'll be here from Wednesday through Saturday until the end of the month. In Salem, I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.
Back here in Idaho, there's a major campaign across the Gem State to improve child welfare outcomes in our great state. Idaho lawmakers invested more than $20 million into the Department of Health and Welfare's Child Welfare Division. Governor Little signed that action into law in the form of Senate Bill 1208 earlier this year. It actually stands as the largest increase in child welfare budgeting in the state of Idaho's history. And with the investment, the Department of Health and Welfare, they have begun hiring for 63 new positions. This week on our Viewpoint program, we have a great guest to talk about the changes and direction of advocating for Idaho's children. Gene Fisher, the administrator of the Division of Youth and Safety Permanency at the Department of Health and Welfare.
35 of them will be specialists just in prevention services alone. 10 of them are dedicated to the north and then divided up between our different regions here and then regions 6 and 7. And those prevention workers are prevention workers, like I said, that will be working with those families that are on the cusp, right? That schools call us about, that churches call us about, families call us about and say, whether it's perhaps a mental health or maybe it's substance use or maybe they're on the verge of homelessness. We don't want those families coming into the department scare. And if we can keep them together through prevention services, 3 months to 6 months, and they are willing to do it, great. The rest of those workers, staff, are going to be dedicated staff. One will be to, about 7 of them will be to Family Find, and that is to really start reaching out in these tech spaces, like 23andMe and these genealogical, to dig way deeper to find your relatives, to find kin, to find that Uncle Joe in Missouri that you didn't know was there or you've lost contact with. Because we know nationally, the studies show that children will always fare better if they're with family. And that could even be family that is farther removed but have a connection to who they are.
We have the full conversation this Sunday coming up at 9 a.m. right here on News Channel 7. Despite the cool temperatures, the float season has begun on the Boise River. It kicked off today, the first day of summer. Also in our area, what healthcare professionals want you to know about water safety. Plus, a major summer event in Sun Valley is now canceled. Jude Binkley has the 411 on the 208.
A former Caldwell police officer could sue the city of Caldwell and the Caldwell Police Department. They filed a tort claim, which is normally a precursor to a lawsuit, on May 7th. It claims Lieutenant Benjamin Heinrich was placed on administrative leave for misconduct in February after he posted flyers to petition the removal of Caldwell Police Chief Rex Ingram. Heinrich was then fired in late April. The claim is asking for $500,000 in damages for Heinrich, who claims he was retaliated against and his free speech was not protected. When asked about the claim yesterday, the city acknowledged they did receive a tort claim, but say that claim includes, quote, unverified allegations and does not reflect the full scope of the situation. Float season officially starts today. Health officials are reminding you to be prepared before hitting the Boise River this summer. Dr. Jessica Evanswall with St. Alphonsus says it's important to bring plenty of water and snacks, as well as sunscreen and life jackets.
And as adults, even if you can swim really well, you can model good, safe behavior to kids by wearing those all the time when you're on the water.
Parks and Rec still recommends you park at Ann Morrison Park and take the shuttle to Barber Park since there are more parking options at Ann Morrison. Another new thing this year is that the Ada County Sheriff's Office Marine Unit is working closer with BPD to try and make rescues happen quicker. The annual Tour de Force in Sun Valley has been canceled this year. Event directors announced today that the event lost its insurance coverage. Organizers say this decision to cancel the Tour de Force was not made lightly. The event was supposed to run from July 17th through the 19th. And that's the 411 on the 208. I'm Jude Binkley.
Well, this is the coolest start to the summer season that we have seen since 2019. And looking at the satellite and radar live look outside, you can probably tell why. Lots of rain shower activity, some storming activity happening as well. Some lightning is striking in eastern Oregon, close to Baker City there. Lots of rain in the central mountains, even some snow being seen, those little white spots there, which we were anticipating, but we weren't necessarily anticipating it this early into the weekend, since the weekend hasn't even officially started yet. But we have a cold front that has been moving through the region today that stopped us from warming up quite a bit. We only saw 60s this afternoon in Boise. This low pressure system, even though the core of it is on the coast, we are already seeing impacts, and that is going to continue to approach our region through the weekend. So looking at where that cold front was moving through, you can kind of see that it has fully moved through the Treasure Valley and most of the mountain ranges. However, hasn't fully impacted the Magic Valley quite yet. They are down in temperatures compared to yesterday, but only down 12 degrees compared to the rest of the region that's down anywhere from 20 degrees to almost 40 degrees down since this time yesterday in Stanley. Down 39 degrees in Stanley right now, only at 45 degrees for the first afternoon of summer. So a very cool start to the season. The Treasure Valley is only in the 60s right now. Magic Valley, again, still in the 70s because they haven't quite cooled down as much. Haley at 66, catching up there. We do have watches and warnings in place. A lot going on to watch out for tonight. There's a wind advisory in this tan shaded area. Wind gusts could get up to 50 miles per hour possible if those storms do start to initiate. Also a red flag warning down in south central Idaho because there is a risk of fires not only starting but spreading pretty quickly as we have low moisture and humidity in the atmosphere, as well as strong winds that could blow it quickly. Also a winter weather advisory in some portions of the central mountains there in the purple, and then a freeze warning in Nevada as well. Looking at our potential for storms this afternoon, looks like non-severe storms could occur in parts of the Treasure Valley as well as the mountains. But if we look at tomorrow, that area coverage increases to include most of southwest Idaho. If storms do occur, they could potentially cause some small hail even this weekend. Tomorrow morning, we will be very cool in our early morning temperatures, 40s in the valleys, 30s in the mountains, a very brisk start compared to what we have been seeing. There could be a dusting of snow in the central and west central mountains tomorrow morning, and then by the end of the weekend, there could be a couple inches of snow accumulated for the first weekend of summer. So looking at our 7-day forecast here, first alert weather conditions still tomorrow because of those cool, breezy, and wet impacts around the region. We should be warming up by the middle of next week.
Sounders soccer team was back in action this week for the FIFA Club World Cup, but the team lost to Atletico Madrid in their second match, so they're eliminated from the tournament. But despite the loss, there's still growing buzz around the city of Seattle, especially with the World Cup just 1 year away. Natalie Swaby with our sister station in Seattle shows us the expected economic impact.
In Seattle, FIFA fever is bringing out the fans.
Very excited, yeah. We need to win today.
The Club World Cup, a photo-worthy moment for families, is why Alexis Schwartzman is here.
The last time I see the Atletico de Madrid, I saw this 5 years ago. And now, we are very excited to see again my team,
He traveled from Miami, and for Dale Anderson,
wherever it was going to be, I was going to be at the matches.
He just had to make the drive from Olympia.
As a bonus.
What's happening here is a lead up to the big event Seattle's been waiting for.
The Emerald City.
From this announcement to now just a year away.
The World Cup is such a big deal for the city of Seattle. We're on the center stage, so it is such a great opportunity to show the world what we're about, what Seattle is about.
Neighborhoods like Pioneer Square are getting ready.
We definitely are anticipating foot traffic.
Honestly, we'll see when we get there. I don't know what to believe.
Gantry Public House is across from Lumen Field.
We've been on this street for 30 years.
Here they've heard the estimates that the FIFA World Cup in Seattle will attract 750,000 visitors and generate nearly $1 billion.
Our landlords were here today to see what they can do to help us for next year. So we're already planning on how we're going to utilize our space and control crowds and make sure that we take care of customers next year.
The countdown has begun for fans too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the World Cup is the most event of soccer,
I'm personally just really excited about it. It's all I can do to at least get one match.
Overall, when it comes to the economic impact, the FIFA Club World Cup is expected to generate more than $9 billion this year, while 2026 FIFA World Cup officials forecast more than $40 billion in revenue. In Seattle, Natalie Swaby, King 5 News.
The name. All right, so to end the week here on the 208, the Comment-tron 7000, it's not working properly. So I'm gonna do this the old school way. I'm gonna read the comment right off the laptop. This one is from Andrea in Meridian saying about the story about the teacher in Spokane saying, wow, I was a teenager in Spokane when we read To Kill a Mockingbird in class. My teacher read the word for word the same book, did the same as this teacher, and was celebrated for teaching us how it was such an ugly word. That is Andrea in Meridian, a perspective there. People are wanting to know about the first alert weather day. How do we decide it? Well, our team of meteorologists, namely our chief meteorologist, Rachel Garceau, they study the weather patterns as they come closer and they decide if it would be a day that would be impactful to Idahoans. I can tell you a lot goes into the decision. And as a reminder, tonight into tomorrow is a first alert weather day. It is the first day of summer, but be aware tomorrow, wind and rain in the forecast. I guess bring an umbrella and hang on tight. All right, we'll see you next week.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVV Plus app everywhere you stream.